All right, happy Friday. Welcome back. Concepts and training, diving into eccentrics and two purposes for eccentrics. Really, when we look at it, right, we have physiological and cognitive demands. So shout out to Cody Hughes for kind of breaking it down into those two domains, because I described it in a much more complex way. So we're gonna try to make it more simple, right? So when we have eccentrics, what we're looking at is those tempo movements, nice and controlled lowerings, right? If I were to do a squat and do this nice controlled eccentric, so I'm lowering into a position, nice and controlled, keeping that chest up, coming all the way back. We can do it with a split squat, right? Same thing, nice controlled, come back up. We could do it with an RDL, reach, right? There's so many different combinations that we could do this with, right? When we look at slow eccentrics, what we're trying to do is we're trying to create a more coordinated way of moving, and we're trying to increase the body's ability to create a braking force, that eccentric muscle contraction. Really like this, especially if you're new to lifting or you're working with new lifters. Really what we're trying to do is get into a good position and associate what those positions feel like. Okay, so nerves connect to muscle fibers. That sensory information we get from being able to get in those positions, right? If I'm able to control this squat, okay, if I'm in that position, what we end up doing is that sensory feedback we get from the nervous system allows us to kind of coordinate and contract muscles in a more efficient and a more coordinated way in order to increase our knowledge of the positions we're trying to get into. What that ends up doing is it increases our mobility, it increases our ability to stay stable at the bottom of movements, and it's gonna help us try to drive output out of those movements as well. All right, we see this a lot. Ankle mobility is actually a really great example of this. If I take a position here, and we're gonna use a very extreme split squat where we drive that knee over that toe as far as we can. Well, if I slowly load into that position and we get in here and nice and controlled, slowly lower, we can start to feel out, right? We get sensory feedback from what's going on in the foot, what's going on in the ankle, the calf, the quad, this back hip even, in order to then associate and actually create some sense of mobility. All right, so we start to get into good positions and we start to identify what those good positions feel like. That way, when we start to actually do them faster, right, in that squat, right, we can do that faster and get into a very similar or that good position after having gone through and created this time under tension that's created the sensory feedback. It's given us a little extra coordination, and we've created the cognitive awareness of what we're actually doing. So physiologically, we can look at the fact that we're actually producing more force eccentrically than concentrically. We're building the brakes, we're helping creating some extra flexibility and mobility, because if you do your eccentrics correctly, you can add some of that, right? We're increasing our body's ability to have stronger tendons. When we start to look at that, and we're increasing the coordination, obviously for muscle firing, but now we start to increase the coordination and our cognitive ability to associate positions. So two ways you can use eccentrics. Those are the two breakdowns. Cognitive, physiological, thanks to Cody Hughes for breaking that down into those two different patterns. But identifying those, that's just one way we can use the eccentrics in the weight room, especially if you're new to lifting or you're coaching people that are new to lifting. You can use those eccentrics as ways to associate positions and drive physiological output in order to make them stronger, healthier, and build stronger futures.